Hello, Brick Sculptors, and welcome back to Brick Sculpt. This is Chris, and I have an exciting new Help Me Brick Sculpt video. This problem came to us from a fan named Michael, and Michael sent me this email. Hey Chris, I've been watching your channel for a bit and took a great interest in your ability to solve almost impossible Lego problems. Yeah, we'll see. Particularly with making solutions for the smallest of gaps. I've got a challenge request for you. I'm currently working on a series of Brickheadz based off the band Tally Hall, and I made a design for their iconic colored ties that I'm very happy with and don't want to change. The issue is with incorporating it into the basic Brickheadz base. I need it centered, but I can't fill the gaps on either side of the tie to make a flush connection. I've tried every solution I could, but to no avail. I'll attach a few pictures featuring what I'm having trouble with. Thank you. Also, shameless plug, but I do have a Lego Ideas project up on the site. If you're interested in voting, please do. Well, number one, Brick Sculptors should always help Brick Sculptors. So I'm going to post his Lego Ideas build. It is very good. It's also Tally Hall themed. I'm going to post it in the description. Let's go ahead and vote him up. He's got about 6,000 votes right now, a little bit more than that. Let's go ahead and get him to 10,000 Brick Sculptors. Let's help a fellow Brick Sculptor out. Anyway, back to the content here. Tally Hall is a band I had never heard of. I did look them up because of this video. It's an indie band from, looks like the 2010s-ish, maybe the early 2000s as well. Not familiar, super trippy music. Not totally my style, but it was a real trip listening to that. But anyway... cool stuff. The mocks look cool. He definitely has a problem here with this tie, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. I'm also not most familiar with Brickheadz, so I'm going to use his design and kind of go off his knowledge of that because I've never really dealt with Brickheadz. I know they have kind of standard sizes, so let's go ahead and see what we can do here. I've got Brickhead Rick to help us. Okay, this is what he sent me. And so far it looks super cool. He's got the guy with the tie. This is what I'm going to go off for Brickhead's dimensions. I don't know if his sizing is all correct, but that's the build he wants to do. And he knows better than I do, so we're just going to use it. Basically 4 studs by 4 studs, and the height of this is 6 plates, or 2 bricks. From the pants to the top of the shirt at least. So that's the portion we're working with here because we're trying to fill the gaps on either side of his tie. Now I've come up with a couple of solutions here. The one problem is right here. I've made a design for their iconic colored ties I am very happy with and don't want to change. Well, Michael, unfortunately, that tie is the biggest part of the problem. I do have a solution that is pretty good where I can keep that tie, but I would highly recommend changing the tie. It'll make your life a lot easier, make your build a lot easier. My solution is not going to be the prettiest and cleanest, but it is a solution nonetheless. So let's go ahead and get started here. So the first solution I would recommend would be to replace the tie. I know that's not what you want to hear, but we got to show all the options. Easiest way to do that, this section here from the bottom of the head to the top of the pants is 2 bricks tall. You can do these jumper snot pieces stacked on top of each other, 2 studs right in the middle. You can put the same tie piece at the top. It doesn't go quite as high as his design, which I'll show you here in a minute in brick form. And then you can put something underneath. Now, the pieces that he used would not fit in this fashion. So we need to substitute something here. We could do one of these pill-shaped ovals, not a bad looking tie. You could possibly do this one, which is quite similar to his, but it does have a stud on it. So I don't know if he's going to love that, but it is an option nonetheless. It's got the same shape on the bottom. You could do something really basic like that. Unfortunately, a lot of these designs, you're not going to have the colors available in physical builds. So this band has 5 different ties. I think it's red, green, blue, yellow, and gray. I did a quick search on parts. These pill-shaped type pieces do not come in a lot of colors. So in a studio build, this would work fine. In a physical build, you're not going to get this in the proper colors, within stain, within Lego, that is. Same with most of these solutions. I'm not sure about this one. I know this you can get in any color. Then I came up with this piece also. Now again, limited colors, but I thought it'd be a really good looking tie. The problem is it's not going to fit in this configuration. So if you did want to use this tie, we have to switch it up. Well, first of all, let me show you how this would fit. I built the base here, the sides, pretty simple. This would fit right in the middle here. You put your tie on. And personally, if it were me doing it, that's how I would do this build. Again, depending on the color limitations, if you're trying to do a physical build, this would not work. But in studio, it would. And if you're trying to do ideas, it would work in studio. Now, if we were to try to use this piece, which I think works really nice looking for a tie, we could do this a little bit differently. Basically, all we need to do is move one of these studs up or the other one down. I can't get this thing off. So we can move the top one up or the bottom one down just to make a little bit more space. And the best way I would recommend doing that will be this build here. And I've got the same piece on top. I decided to move the bottom one down. I put that one on a jumper, just a normal jumper plate, snotted that in there. I got a brick here, a bracket, a couple plates on top just to fill the back, and then brick in the front. And so this is going to get you that 6 plates high face on it. You've got a jumper on end is 2.5 plates, brackets a half a plate, and 3 plates for a brick. And this one you would be able to attach this piece for a tie. I think this is super cool looking. Again, color options not great on this, but it's got some really great shape and looks like a tie. And you would need to do the base a little differently on this one. So basically you're going to have to build some more, you have to have a smooth section here in the middle for this to sit on because the bottom is snotted over brick. And so basically you just build around that. You put your sides in here, your arms on here. Same thing on this side. And basically I would just lock this in on the top. A couple plates here. I've got some corner plates right over the top. Lost my tie. And there you go. It's in the body. Now again, I've offered 2 solutions here, but neither of these use his tie. So now we're going to talk about the tie that he created and wants to keep. And that's this tie here. The way this is built, we have a D-snot brick on the top. We have a 1x1 plate, a D-snot, and then this 1x1 on the bottom with this little claw piece hanging down. I apologize for all the white. This build took some more unique pieces that I don't have a ton of, so this is kind of what I had without doing a Lego order. I wanted to get this video out pretty quick. So there's his tie. And I'll admit, it does look awesome. I mean, I do think this looks better than all the ties I've shown. Unfortunately, this tie comes with baggage. So first thing, if you use this tie, you're going to need to use a jumper because you got to get in the middle. And it's a 1 brick wide design, 6 plates high, and it's got to go in the middle of the base. So you're going to have to build your base or your pant section with a jumper in the front. And so that gets it right in the center. And then we can start to plug in the sides here. And this is where we start to see trouble. Now there's a few things going on here. Number one, because this is 1 brick jumped in the middle of 2 bricks wide, you've got these gaps. And these gaps, okay, maybe you could fill it with a plate or whatever. The problem is the spacing on them. So 2 bricks wide is 40 LDU. 1 brick wide is 20 LDU. So we have 40 minus 20 is 20. And divide it by 2 is going to be 10 on each side. So having a firm knowledge of LDU makes this a lot easier, but also kind of gives you the realization it's near impossible. Having 10 LDU on each side, that means you need a plate or tile. I know tiles are a little bit thinner. And you're going to need a tile because it's got to fit in here smoothly. That's going to be 8 LDU. And then you see the other problem. You need 2 LDU. Now in this channel, we've talked a lot about LDU. We can create steps, 1 LDU steps, and I'm actually probably going to make one of these with half LDU steps next, all the way from 0 to 20. The problem is, this is degrees of movement outward. This is not making paper thin pieces that are 1 LDU. So there is our problem. To fill this gap, we need a piece that is 2 LDU wide. That's a tricky one. Now there is, however, one piece out there that is pretty widely accepted as 2 LDU wide, at least one that I know of. If you know other ones, please let me know below. And there may be other ones, but only one that I find is actually somewhat useful and attachable to other things. Now that piece is this piece here. And this is the top of a hinge. And I think for most people, this is pretty widely accepted to be the thickness of this top to be 2 LDU. I've heard a little bit of debate on that, but most people agree on that concept. At least most people I've talked to about this. For comparison, if I hold it up to a bracket is 4 LDU. It's basically about half of that bracket. I don't know how exact it is, but again, this is pretty commonly referred to as 2 LDU in the Lego world. So that means we need to take this and a tile and fit it in here. And it will fill the gap, right? Just like that. Well, kind of. And I apologize, my hinge piece is the wrong color. Again, I kind of just scrapped some stuff together here. I didn't have any of those in white. So it does fill that gap, but this causes more problems. Number one, if I take a second one of these, well, I can't put it next to it because the middle portions are going to overlap. I also really want to attach this to something. You can put a clip on here, but that's going to be really challenging. The only other method you can really do is use the other portion of the hinge piece. And that's definitely going to get in the way of the second one. And what the heck are you going to attach that to? That's pretty tricky. Even if you could attach one, you're definitely not going to have a good attachment for the second one. And be able to build the rest of the build the way you want to. The other problem is this stack height is 6 plates. Now, most of us probably know 2 bricks wide, or 40 LDU, is a stack height of 5 plates. So we still have a 1 plate difference at the top, which we're not going to be able to make up because there's really no other pieces that I know of that do a 2 LDU. So what the heck? There's a lot of problems with this one. So this is the best I came up with. Hopefully you like it. If not, your next best, I would say, would be to change ties. But if we have to use this tie, here's how I would do it. We're going to take one of these, we're going to put it in that position. This is going to be held in only by the pieces surrounding it. The top of the tie does hold it a little bit here, and we're going to put bricks on the back here and fully surround it, so it's not going to move. It's going to be in there really tight. So I'm not too worried about it moving. It just is maybe semi-illegal in some circles of the internet. I'm going to take a second one, and though I can't do it inward, I can do it outward. And I actually left this part smooth so that this can face outward. Now the problem with this is it starts to get in the way of the arm. The arms on this brickhead attach like this. But you could just put half of the attachment points, and it wouldn't be too difficult to just cover this by putting the arm over it like this. And unfortunately, there's not really a better way I could find to fill that gap without getting in the way of this piece. But that does fill the front here. Now I still need to put a brick behind it to hold it in place. And you'll see these pieces really aren't going anywhere. They're stuck in there pretty good. And I wish they were white because this doesn't look great. But Now we have the problem of it being just a little bit short. If I just put a normal plate up here, you're going to have an ugly gap at the top. And no matter what I do, you're going to have some kind of gap at the top. The best solution I could find was the door rail piece. The rail piece right here gets pretty close to the D-snot piece, and it has two little holes at the top. A lot of that is covered by the top of this tie. We'll put one of those on each side, and that is about the best I could fill that up. A couple of bricks on the back. Put a plate across here. The other arm on this side. And that is the body that I've come up with. We can also put a head on this. Now this is a jumped piece, but if you're doing the brick head like this head here, you can put one of these in the middle, which then will have 3 attachment points and will fit on a jumped piece. And the sides. And the top, at the back. And there you go. You have a brick head on there. It's got a few little gaps at the top, but that is the best and only solution I can come up with that uses this tie. In my best advice would be change ties. Pick a design you like, figure out color availability. I think that's your biggest holdup. Now, if you are trying to do Lego ideas with this, this might bring you into some illegal zone that they don't like. I don't know, but that's the best I could do. Well, that's all I got for this one. I hope this was helpful for you, Michael. If you have an idea you'd like help with, please email me, bricksculpt.chris@gmail.com. I will get back to you. Sometimes it takes me a little bit of time. I apologize. I cannot feature everybody's problem. I've been getting some that are kind of vague. It has to be pretty specific. It has to be something I can get a solution to. It has to be something I can film pretty easily and I think will be relatable to others. So don't be offended if I don't select your problem, but I will at least talk to you, see what we can figure out. And hopefully we can at least have a good conversation. If you guys like this video, please like and subscribe. I do more just like this in the future. If you have any questions, please leave them below in the comments. I'll do my best to answer them. That's all I got for this time, and we will see you next time.